Hey everybody, I am starting to make YouTube videos for the 2024 growing season, so here's another one, and thanks for checking out my channel. I am really getting into starting to get seeds going inside, so I wanted to capture the process, the steps, so I'll be hopefully posting quite a few videos here. It takes a little bit of time, but I really enjoy it and I really want to document it for nothing else than myself and my husband. But if other people want to follow along, knock yourselves out. Love to share what we do. And so tonight what I'm doing here, I'm in our sunroom, which is where we grow a lot of our seedlings to start. It kind of doubles like a greenhouse inside our house because there's some really nice windows all along the three walls. And we have a planting station here, so I'm just going to tip the camera for a second so you can see we've got a planting station set up, which I absolutely love. And actually I'm going to flip this around so you can see it more. So shout out to Angie. She gave us this awesome cute little cabinet. It has been such a lovely addition to our sunroom, but this has turned out to be very functional and it's adorable, where we have drawers with seeds in them. We've got storage under here for all sorts of garden supplies. I've got soil in there, seeds, and all sorts of cool stuff. And up top, I put down this plastic so that this can be a planting station. So I've got our soil, our potting mix that we're using for a lot of the different things, a mixing bin where I add water to get the soil going, and then I'm starting to seed things in different trays. What I'm working on right now is some winter sowing stuff. So I've got a couple bins that I'm doing outside. This is my second one, and I am just getting stuff planted. So these three, for example, are sugar snap peas, and we've grown these before out in the field, the pasture garden. But we wanted to try the winter sowing method here just to see how they did. It's not going to be real cold out. We think we're going to have a really warm spring here in Minnesota in zone 4B, I believe we still are. I have to check the USDA maps because maybe we shifted, but we've always been 4B to give you a rough idea. And we're thinking that this might work really well to put these outside just to save some more space inside and also experiment, because sugar snap peas like cold. They're a cooler crop, so thinking they might germ pretty well out there. We're also having temps today. It's crazy warm in the 60s, but this week we're supposed to be in the mid 40s. So I think it's going to be really nice for them to germinate, hopefully. And then you can see I've got a whole other set of bins here to fill. There's just so much that we want to do. Like, I'm kind of overwhelmed. This is going to be yet another amazing season. So tonight what I am doing is getting marigolds in. I've also got blanket flower seeds, which are a lovely perennial. Some coneflower. I think that's the same as echinacea. I'm learning all this stuff. Always learning. What else do we have here? More coneflower seeds. Dianthus seeds. And then turtle head. These are white ones. I do not like pink, so I'm excited to try white turtle head, which are a lovely perennial. Ooh, I've got some poppies. Oh, cool. I'm actually gonna sow these poppies out in the garden bed. They do not like to be moved, so I'm not gonna try to winter sow them in a container. And I've got a bunch more poppies that are hardy to this zone and are perennials that I'm going to put out in the garden. And then lastly, cardinal flower. So if you've not grown cardinal flower, they are lovely native in our area. First up are the marigold seeds. I have a whole bunch of these that I harvested by hand from our blooms last year. I just keep them in a Ziploc. I don't put them in anything fancy because they don't need it. They're just marigolds. I'm just literally sprinkling them along this whole container here. These are actually to-go containers from Applebee's. And they have, I'm super excited about this. So I saved containers that would be good for winter sowing or just growing, get this, they already have vents in them because you need to have holes. And then voila, it's a little tiny makeshift greenhouse, which is awesome. And I'm just sprinkling a whole bunch. I've had really good luck growing these in the past in containers like this. They're not fussy. Marigolds are very hardworking, very simple, lovely flower to have as an annual in containers in the garden. They get really big in the garden, actually. They get to be like a small bush size. Like mine tend to get about a foot in diameter and height. So I really enjoy having them because I love orange. And I'm not going to put a lot of energy into them. I'm just going to cover them up a little bit with soil. Make sure they stay watered. If I was going to be more fancy with a seed, I would make sure I put drill holes in the bottom of this container, but I am not going to do that. I just don't care. I'm just going to make sure they stay watered. I usually just wait for the soil to dry out, and that has worked really well for me. And it's basically free because I've harvested these seeds on my own, which is very gratifying and cost effective. All right, the soil is really moist. I put a lot in, so I don't even need to water these. I think they will do just fine, and then I will check on them and water them every couple days. Now I am starting my coneflowers. So I'm adding a bunch of water to the soil, stirring it around real good, working it in. Because whenever you get soil from the store in a potting bag mix, it's going to be dry, obviously, and you want it dry because it's a heck of a lot easier to carry those bags too when they're lighter. And then you add in the moisture. All right, so now I'm just gonna fill up my containers with a good amount of soil. Woo! All right, first one up, we have Cheyenne Spirit. I have no idea what color these are, I don't remember. Doesn't matter, I'm just gonna give it a shot. There's only 15 and they're tiny little seeds, like itty bitty. So this is definitely going to be interesting. And I can barely see them. As they go in, I'm just doing my best to rotate around as I tap them out of the Ziploc bag. So how I do this, if I've never grown something and they don't have like a real good label on the seed packet, I just Google it. And the Google sources I looked at said a 1/4 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch, so we're just going to put a little bit of soil on top, and that's it. And I was reading that they require light to germinate. Some sources say to put them in darkness for a bit and then expose them to light when you start to see some emergence, but other sources say they need light to germinate. So the jury's out on that one. So this has my handy dandy label. Putting my fork in there, and voila, we are done. They're all nice covered up, tucked in. I think I'm going to water them just a titch. Yes, the soil's moist, but I'm just going to spray the surface so I don't disturb the seed placement too much, but they still get some moisture. And that's it, because I don't want to, you don't want to drown them in water, especially when you've just planted seeds, because they're so fragile on the top here, like things can move. The way water goes down into the soil, it can displace where the seeds are, and you want them at that right depth. So spraying them with water is a really smart method. I always have a spray can nearby. On to Mellow Yellow. So we have 20 of these. Same drill. Puff vanilla. So this is supposed to be like a creamy white one. 20 pieces. Those seeds are a lighter color. They all went in one spot. Not the most precise seed placement, but I am not being fancy with these. These are not seeds that I spent a lot of money on. They came from a supplier overseas that I don't think is the highest quality, so I'm just hoping I get something out of them. They were a good deal. Crossing fingers. And grab a little bit more. Sprinkle on top. Also, I'm not using starter soil in this particular set of pots I'm doing right now because, again, I'm not being fancy. I just want to get some things going. We have seed starter mix, which is a finer consistency, and we'll use that for more fancy things like our tomatoes and our peppers and things we want to invest in a little bit more and give more VIP treatment to. But this works just fine because, again, these are experiments. I don't know if they're going to work out. I don't know if they're going to pay off. They might not. So that is our puff vanilla. We're ready to rock and roll. All right, the next one up is white swan, and this one has 50 seeds. That's quite a bit more than the others. So I'm going to take I have a slightly bigger container here. I am just going to use them all in here. I'm not being stingy. Because I don't even know if they're going to come up. My hope is that if any of these do come up, I really want to add them to the garden bed, in the perennial garden beds, because I would love to invest in these and have a bunch of gorgeous coneflowers coming back every year. When I've bought them at the store, I just can't seem to get them to like me. So I figure seeds are a great way, low cost, to just try and see if you can get something going on your own without feeling bad that, oh gosh, I spent all this money at the greenhouse on a mature plant and it died. It's kind of fun. It's like, hey, can I grow this thing? And if you can, it is very gratifying because you grew that thing. How cool is that? All right. This is called eccentric. I have no idea what that means. Sounds great. I don't know what color it is. I'm not going to spend the time to Google it. I'm just not that invested in these. It's one of those, hey, if they do great, awesome. I'll be very, very happy if anything happens here. And that is coneflowers.